I'm going to tell you something that's more than just rumors, so stop everything. A catastrophe is playing out in real time. Consider a young lady who is already drowning in instability, betrayal, and heartache. A secret list so dangerous that it might destroy everything she has built is now pulling her into the flames. Chrisean Rock is that woman. And tonight, the world just watched her name erupt over live streams, timelines, and headlines. Jaguar Wright claims to have the ultimate receipt, a document, a list, and a ticking time bomb that connects Chrisean's entire career to covert transactions, betrayals from her own blood, and the kind of manipulation that turns a human life into a circus for profit. This isn't because of another argument or messy Instagram tirade. Imagine the treachery of a sister murmuring in the background. Red ink circles the name of a boyfriend. Cash-counting producers watch while a young woman has public breakdowns. A piece of paper behind it all barely blurred the screen enough to disrupt the internet. It was embraced by blogs. Over it, fans cried. Additionally, hashtags like #, the list went viral on Twitter. People believed Chrisean was simply messy for years, a young woman enmeshed in her own troubles. However, what if the storms were deliberately created? What if all the arguments, tears, and viral outbursts were staged to increase views, money, and ratings? And now for the most egregious twist of all. According to Jaguar, she did not get this list by accident. She mentions a member of the Chrisean family. It was put there by blood. If it's accurate, Chrisean isn't merely battling the globe. The same individuals who were supposed to protect her are betraying her. There is no drama here. This is devastation. And it might be too late now. The tone is already strong as the camera fades in. This headline is not just another clumsy one. Disguised as breaking news, this is pain. Because it's not just Chrisean Rock that's the name on everyone's lips tonight. The secret list has the potential to destroy her. A list flashed and murmured in the darkness by none other than Jaguar. In a hazy piece of paper, huh? A list that chronicles tragedies rather than merely stories. In the spotlight, Chrisean was already struggling for her life. Contracts with Zeus that seemed to bind rather than release her, a toxic connection with Blueface, and never-ending arguments with her sister Techie. She was struggling for oxygen and drowning. And Jaguar threw her into deeper water just when it appeared she might be able to escape. Jaguar didn't only gossip. She made more than a suggestion. She claimed to have evidence, real receipts, documents that were as sharp as glass, complete with names, dates, and betrayals. The internet also froze when she hinted that Chrisean's name was connected to influential promoters, producers, and even rappers. Because Chrisean wasn't merely a casualty of chaos, if that were the case. She was a cog in a machine that made money off of her suffering. Consider a young woman who is barely able to hold herself together for a few moments. Each tear became a snippet. Every altercation became a meme. Each breakdown resulted in a bonus under the contract. What the world perceived as it's possible, that promoters, Blueface, or Zeus executives purposefully created turmoil. Fans couldn't take their eyes off it when Jaguar termed it design destruction. The saddest part, though, is that Jaguar acknowledged the list wasn't unexpected. She asserted that it originated from Chrisean's own family, from blood. It wasn't random people that betrayed me. It came from a person who ought to have kept her safe, whispers at once. Dragged Chrisean through the mud and turned to face DKI, the sister who has gone live innumerable times. People were devastated by the prospect, whether it was real or not. Since what else is there if your own family can sell you out? Then the hazy paper appeared. Jaguar smirked as she leaned into her camera and showed a list of typed names. Fans claimed to have seen beyond possibly Natalie Nunn by zooming in, taking screenshots, and circling initials. Blogs took off. Hashtags like #DropTheList.war all over Twitter. Her blurry receipt was transformed into 1,000 conspiracy edits on TikTok. Chrisean, quiet throughout it all, cried out louder than any denial. When she eventually went live, screaming, sobbing, pacing, and saying, "Stop toying with me," it crushed hearts rather than clearing her name. People said that she simultaneously appeared deceived, cornered, guilty, and crushed. The internet didn't. Perceive confidence. On camera, they witnessed a young woman disintegrating once more. And Blueface wasn't the only one who pushed her over the edge this time. The world was waiting for Jaguar to reveal all. This is no longer gossip. This a real-time tragedy. A girl brought up in turmoil, thrust into stardom, taken advantage of by networks, deceived by her family, and now standing in front of a storm that could wipe her out entirely. Jaguar was also fully aware of her actions. Her remarks were sharp. Gasoline was her smirk. And she left Chrisean struggling for her soul as well as her profession with each hazy receipt and mysterious threat. Because Chrisean Rock's narrative won't simply stop if that list is real and it is released in its whole. The tale of all those connected to her ascent will come to a conclusion. And for that reason, the internet is in tears tonight. 'Cause we're witnessing a downfall rather than merely drama. The internet viewed Jaguar's first live performance negatively. However, nobody could have predicted what would happen next. Because she stopped teasing when Jaguar got live again. She wasn't giving away riddles or flashing blurry pages. This time she was methodical and composed, almost too composed. Like a lady with a grenade in her hand and the pin already out. "Y'all think Chrisean Rock is just chaos on Zeus?" asked Jaguar, leaning into her camera. "No, sweetheart. She's bound by names that have been dragging her down from the beginning." The conversation erupted. Comments are pouring in from tens of thousands of people pleading with her to reveal names. Then she did. Blueface was her first shocking revelation. According to Jaguar, Blueface was more than simply Chrisean poisonous lover. He was listed as one of the enablers. She claimed he collaborated closely with Zeus producers, orchestrating her tantrums and making sure every altercation went viral, not out of love or drama, but rather for financial gain. Jaguar claims that Blueface cash covers all of her suffering, including every scream, bruise, and tear. The internet went down. The fans were unable to breathe. Blueface knew he wasn't on it, so hold on. Tweets spread like wildfire. Jaguar's clip was edited by TikTok to include video of Chrisean sobbing during interviews. Puzzle pieces are falling into place as fans type. People suspected manipulation for years. Jaguar transformed mistrust into a scar tonight. She wasn't finished, though. Blueface wasn't alone, she continued. That the list connected Chrisean to producers, promoters, and even other rappers who took advantage of her instability. Then she uttered the words that made all the difference. "This isn't arbitrary. This is design." The saddest thing was that she implied betrayal wasn't limited to executives or couples. It came from blood, a sister. Psyche could see the implication clearly. Fans immediately connected the dots. Her anger against Chrisean, her public conflicts, and her previous life. Hashtags such as #SisterSnitch and #exposed within minutes become popular. In the back of people's minds, it seemed too plausible to be true. In the meantime, Blueface doused the flames with gasoline. He removed one terrifying line from his tweet. "When everyone is aware of the truth, listing isn't frightening." Fans took that cryptic remark as confirmation, but there were no names or denials. Did he mean that Jaguar's list was authentic? Was he making fun of the mayhem he supposedly contributed to? The response was disastrous. It was betrayal on top of betrayal for Chrisean devoted followers. How could she be cashing checks off of the man she fought for, defended, and even had a child with? Her pain, as well as whether or not her own sister betrayed her. And where was she now? Vultures all around, alone. Her existence was designed to increase her ratings. For financial reasons, her family broke up. Jaguar's remarks were sharp. Chrisean quiet, however, was more painful. A day went by after a few hours. No answer, no life, only a tempest of voices around her, speaking for cutely, key. IV speaking for her, speaking against her. Despite being at the center of the hurricane, she had no voice. Then the hazy snippet leak appeared. The publishing industry gossip blog claimed to have seen a portion of Jaguar's list. The screenshot included affiliate links to Blueface's camp, payments, appearance bonuses, bullet points, and a terrifying remark about a private family member serving as a middleman. The internet went down. It was no longer merely a rumor. If authentic, Chrisean's suffering was purchased and sold as this paper demonstrated. That there was more than chaos during the meltdowns. They were agreements. In their remarks, fans cried. One tweet went viral. She believed they were in love with her. Another was being sold to her. She wasn't disorganized. She was merchandise. And the heartache expanded along with these words. 'Cause Chrisean Rock was no longer a tale of a crazy girl who went crazy on Zeus. It concerned a young lady whose life was predestined to fail and whose faith was broken on all sides, and the tears she shed were converted into money. It was best expressed by Jaguar's smirk. This is only the appetizer. The true tragedy hadn't even begun yet if this was only the beginning. The internet believed that. The worst had already happened. Under fire, Blueface accused Seki of being Zeus. Jaguar Wright, however, wasn't finished. Came back this time, colder, quieter, deadlier. Not frantic outbursts, not smudged papers. This woman was on the verge of pressing the red button, she muttered, leaning toward her camera. You guys want to know why they're afraid of this list? Because Chrisean isn't the only one exposed. It reveals everyone connected to her ascent. There was silence in the room. Conversations stopped. This was no longer just about Zeus, and even the trolls ceased typing. It had to do with Hollywood. According to Jaguar, the list included the names of well-known rappers, moguls, and musicians whose reputations would be destroyed if their ties to Chrisean were ever made public. Although she didn't reveal entire identities, she provided enough clues to light the internet on fire. A chart-topping rapper who apparently positioned Chrisean before Blueface. A businessman with authority in TV who allegedly profited from her. Misery. Suddenly, timelines were overflowing with theories from detectives on TikTok and Twitter. Drake, too, baby. Little baby, bigger still. Every outdated picture, hazy studio video, and sporadic appearance was examined like evidence in a homicide case. A young woman crumbling beneath the weight of betrayal was at the heart of it all. Because Chrisean finally snapped while Jaguar rained bombs. She went online a few hours later. This time, I just sat in the dark, not pacing, not loud. All right, her voice broke, her face swelled with tears. I have no idea who I can trust anymore. My own blood, my own dude. Everyone is consuming me. I'm being used by everyone. You all make fun of my suffering. However, this isn't amusing. This is my life. Is my spirit. The internet was rocked by that clip. Once, fans who made fun of her sobbed, memes ceased. All of a sudden, it was not amusing. It was a catastrophe. On Live, a young mother told millions that she felt like a puppet with no more strings to pull. Zoo's executives, meanwhile, were reportedly in complete panic, according to insiders. According to blogs, attorneys were rushing to decide whether to threaten Jaguar or use lawsuits to silence her. Even a leaked audio recording of producers acknowledging they required Chrisean and stable for ratings was claimed by one gossip website. If accurate, it was exploitation at its worst, not simply sloppy television. Blueface was of no assistance. Another strange tweet was issued by him. When she played the game, she knew it. The crowd went wild. According to some, he was verifying Jaguar's account. Others claimed that he was using Chrisean as a shield to protect himself. It was awful. Either way, she seemed to have participated in her own demise by standing up for the man she has been supporting for years. The last twist then appeared. What was posted on a well-known Blueface asserted it was an additional excerpt from Jaguar's list. One line is visible, but names are blurry and payments are redacted. Arrangements agreed by Zeus, planned with family members, completed with artist camp. That was sufficient. Enough to persuade believers that the list was authentic. Sufficient to make conspiracy theorists go crazy. Enough to cause doubters to pause. Because Chrisean's whole existence was never hers in the first place, if this wasn't just rumors, if this was actual documentation. The internet cried. One viral TikTok expressed it best. She believed that her dream was coming true. She was actually following their script. Perhaps that is the most depressing aspect. Chrisean Rock was portrayed for years as a disaster, a tempest, and chaos. The truth is harsher now, though. She wasn't disordered. She was the choreographer. Her emotions were packaged for prime time, her betrayals were sold, and her breakdowns were timed. Jaguar made a terrifying vow as she concluded her stream. If they don't drop the entire list, so quit. And this kingdom collapses when I do. The live stream abruptly ended. Everyone knew that if Jaguar does it, Chrisean Rock won't end. Which is why the internet became silent. Everyone who helped create her storm will perish. This is no longer gossip. This is a tragedy. And the darkness is only growing. Now ask yourself this. How much more is a woman capable of? Before a soul completely crumbles, how many betrayals must occur? This is not a time for gossip. On Zeus, it isn't about untidy lives. This is about a young mother who has lost her future, her dignity, and her trust. Rock and Cree were not the only ones hurt by Jaguar Wright's remarks. They were all cut. Because it's not entertaining when you watch her cry live and hear her say, "Everyone is eating off me." That's a pain. That is a tragedy. Furthermore, her entire life was not hers if this list is accurate. While everyone laughed, it was taken, manipulated, and sold to the highest bidder. Here's the reality, though. They prevail via silence. A narrative will finish like all other exploited stars, erased, forgotten, and held accountable for turmoil she never controlled. If we let this moment pass and allow powerful people to bury the receipts, we need you because of this. Now, flood the comments. If you think the truth should be revealed, type "drop the list." If you're sick of smoke and mirrors, type "prove." Additionally, because this is no longer just Chrisean's battle, please share this video with everyone you know if you believe she deserves justice. It's about an industry founded on suffering, consuming, and expelling every woman. It's about bringing the mechanism that makes money off of destruction to light. And it's about reminding the world that there is still heartbreak behind every headline. Don't merely observe. Don't just scroll. Be the voice they are unable to ignore. Be the unforgettably visible testimony. This surpasses Chrisean Rock in size. This has to do with the truth. And truth requires you, warmth, heat. Hello? Hello?